Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we are going to be talking about Vitor, Lamine Yamal, and then lastly talk about Kessie. Now, a good portion of this video is going to be about Lamine Yamal because I'm just so excited about this player and I want to reassess Lamine Yamal's position at FC Barcelona. And to make it short, it's very positive news. As for the subject of Vitor, that is what we are going to be starting with for today's video because I did say in the previous video that Barcelona are going to be going for Vitor in this summer. They want him because they have all the qualifications to do so, but there is some pushback. Like for example, the CEO Matos has claimed that Vitor cannot leave the club because they have other competitions to fight for. Now remember, Barcelona can do that. They can say to the Brazilian club that they want to sign Vitor and they want to bring him in the summer. But this is going to be the statement coming from the CEO. There's no chance for Vitor to leave and join Barcelona in August. He'll leave in January, and that was the pact with Barcelona, and it'll be respected. We do need him for the final 20 games and to qualify for the Copa of 2024. This is what the CEO said to Fabrizio Romano. Now we do have another source from Brazil that has claimed that advancing the arrival of Vitor in the transfer window means that Barcelona are going to have to pay more money to the Brazilian club. If Vitor arrives now, it would be on a form of a full transfer, and in no case will it be a loan. So if we combine this information together, it does seem like the CEO of the club is saying Barcelona cannot have him yet because the original agreement was for him to come in January 2024. But because of these sources from Brazil are claiming that Barcelona are going to have to pay more money, maybe the CEO is welcoming the idea of Vitor leaving, but they want more funds. And that is where the question does come in. How much more does Barcelona have to pay to bring him in this summer? Because I understand, we all understand that he was supposed to come in January, but to bring him 6 months before that, it is going to be costing money. And who knows if that's going to cost 5 to 6 to 8 to 10 million euros on top of what was originally agreed. Because the original fixed fee right now is for Barcelona to pay 30 million euros, and with variables 31 million euros. He has a contract until 2031 and it does not start until 2024. His release clause is also going to be 500 million euros. But if it is true, if the CEO is asking for an extra payment, if it's around 3 to 5 million euros on top of the 30 million euros, meaning in total Barcelona will have to pay 35 million euros, I would pull the trigger. I would do it. And it's mainly because it is a necessity for us to have an extra number 9. Trust me, when we play through all those games in these next 5 to 6 months, we are going to be needing another attacker. Like if we're just like one injury away from the front line for us to go into crisis. Like if Lewandowski gets injured, do you know how much in trouble Barcelona is going to be sportingly? And this whole idea of Xavi Hernandez wanting a backup striker is nothing new. Back in May, Xavi made it clear that he wanted Aubameyang to be the backup to Lewandowski because at that time we did not know if we were going to be able to find a personal agreement with Vitor. But now we do have a personal agreement with Vitor and the access is there. So ultimately this is going to be the conclusion. If they want to bring him in the summer, they're going to have to renegotiate the whole deal. And I'm sure that it's not going to be like a 2 to 3 week wait. I think the majority of the problems that they had to fix between the club and the player and Barcelona is already fixed. They are just probably going to be asking for an extra small payment, and that's basically it. So we'll see how Barcelona do react off of this statement in the next 24 to 48 hours. Now let's move on towards Lamine Yamal. And it has been reported coming from Sport that Xavi counts on Lamine Yamal and plans on giving him a lot of minutes. And so there are big expectations for Lamine Yamal. And one of the reasons on why Xavi Hernandez is going to give Yamal a lot of minutes is because he has overachieved during this preseason. He is such an impactful player, and you and me can safely agree on this. And I have extreme confidence that Xavi Hernandez can develop this player in a very correct way. Now I know that many are going to be saying we shouldn't give too much pressure on Lamine Yamal and that we shouldn't just say that Lamine Yamal is going to be the next great thing. Like it's just too much. Look at what happened with Ansu Fati. But the thing is that like if Lamine Yamal does not feel no pressure, it does not matter what we say. He does not hear the outside noise, and that is what makes this player so special. And Xavi does see this. Like the fact that he was able to make this much of an impact during preseason and even in his first game back in May, I don't think that he even hears what other people have to say or like what we think of him. Like if you even look at his face when he's on the pitch, like he just doesn't look so worried about anything. He looks like the only thing he's thinking about is what's going to be for lunch tomorrow or something like that, right? He's a kid and he just, you know, it just doesn't exist in him. So I have full trust that Xavi knows what he's doing. Xavi has already done this before. He has done this with Alejandro Balde, with his development, and with Frankie de Jong, right? With Balde. Back then, Balde was young. He was inexperienced. Many did say that he was just attack focused, but because Xavi was trusting on Balde, Balde was able to be so determined on those 1v1s all over the pitch, defensively and offensively. And through those months of the previous season, he improved in tracking back, dispossessing the ball from the opposition. And so there were qualities that were being added to Alejandro Balde, and that is because of Xavi Hernandez and his staff. As for Frankie Frankie de Jong. Xavi has also developed this player, even at the age of 25, 26 years old. Back then, there was no role for Frankie de Jong. Many did say that Frankie cannot see his best version at Barcelona. He needs to move somewhere else. And he was so unimpactful. I don't even know if that's a word, but so unimpactful in the middle of the pitch. But Xavi found the correct role. He made him the first receiver. Every time Ter Stegen received the ball, Frankie de Jong always received the ball first inside the box. And then if you combine that with him being paired with a other defensive midfielder, it really does help Frankie, right? And last season, he was paired with Sergio Busquets. They were always together. Now this season, he is being paired with Oriol Romeo. And that is why we are seeing the best version of Frankie de Jong. He knows his role. He knows what he needs to do. And he has complete support. No longer are we seeing Frankie de Jong make those runs inside the box like what we saw under Ronald Koeman, right? Frankie was a interior with Pedri and he was making those runs. He was scoring goals, maybe sometimes providing assists, but he looked very, I would say, uncomfortable, right? Because that was the only sequence we saw him on becoming a impactful player. But that's basically it. Outside of those runs into the box, he did nothing else. He was like absent. And we just felt, right, that his true ceiling was still being untapped. Like those times under Koeman about 2 years ago, like yes, was he scoring goals? That was good, right? It was good. But we were still only getting about 60% of what he could do. And that is why with Xavi emerging into the club, developing Frankie de Jong, it is proof that he can get the best out of every player as long as that player is determined. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Lamine Yamal. So I expect change and massive developments coming from Yamal through these next 4 to 5 months, which is why we hear that Yamal is going to be getting a lot of minutes because we have to test to see if he can do it. As of now, Yamal is very good at controlling the ball. He knows how to beat his marker. He has a very good eye for goal and he always makes the correct decision. Like he makes, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he plays very simple football. Like when a player or one of his teammates is open, he passes it towards that player. He doesn't overcomplicate things. He doesn't try to out dribble 3 to 4 players and then try to dribble another player just because. He doesn't overcomplicate nothing. And I think that is coming through the academy of Barcelona. I remember Johan Cruyff said this a few years ago, and I quote, "Playing football is very simple, but playing simple football is the hardest thing there is," right? Because we do see a lot of players overcomplicate some plays and we're like, what the heck are you doing? Like you didn't need to do all of that. Like for example, Dembele, sometimes Rafinha. We see that even outside of FC Barcelona, but with Lamine Yamal, he has learned this principle and I felt like it came through the academy and that's really, really good. And I do like his signature move, which is like a feint. He likes to make a feint with the ball. He does like to confuse the opposition. Like for example, against Regulion, when he made a feint, he thought that he was going to go somewhere else and he shook the player. And that is why Barcelona were able to find those last 2 goals is because of Lamine Yamal's excellence on the right wing. So he can really make a player dance even with Lamine not even touching the ball because of his feints. It's so impressive. Now I would say that one of the 2 things that he should really work on through these next 4 to 5 months, because he will, like he's young, right? Of course he has things to work on. It's going to be his composure and being better with his right foot. Like with his composure, usually when I see him being pressed from the back, he does sometimes get pushed off, but that's okay, right? He's young. And then also just get better with the right foot. I think that he's too reliant with his left foot. I don't know if you saw his first play when he was going down that right side. He was using too much of his left foot, and that could be a problem eventually once players and other opposition teams know his weaknesses. But overall, I'm very happy to see and to hear that Xavi Hernandez will be giving Lamine a lot of minutes. Let's see how he does in these next 4 to 5 months. I cannot wait. So now let's move on and quickly finish this video with Frank Kessie. So Kessie is leaving Barcelona. Barcelona will be receiving 12.5 million euros from the new club of Kessie, and I'm very grateful for his time at Barcelona. I just want to quickly say that, you know, one of the reasons on why Barcelona were able to win La Liga is because of Kessie's goal against Real Madrid. That goal that he scored led towards Barcelona going over Real Madrid in the table, and that was massive. That was a key moment, and so he played a huge part on Barcelona winning La Liga in the previous season. Words cannot even express how grateful we were for having Kessie in our squad. I wish that he can still continue at Barcelona, but because of these plans that are unfolding and because Xavi Hernandez wants to continue to progress his team, and seeing how he is adding Gundogan, Oriol Romeo, seeing how Frankie de Jong is getting better and better over time, and with the implementation of Fermin Lopez, of course, obviously Kessie is going to have to move somewhere else, and Xavi Hernandez has communicated that to Kessie. But we're always going to be grateful. He was someone who, yes, scored that goal against Real Madrid, and even when he was not playing, he never bothered the coach and said, why am I not getting more minutes? I deserve more minutes because of my performances. He never bothered nobody. He was always very professional. Overall, he had a very good attitude, and I hope that whatever Frank Kessie did in the past year, many other players can learn from that in terms of being professional and understanding the decisions of the coach. So thank you, Kessie, and we wish you a lot of luck in the future. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.